Hey everybody, what's up? This is my day 3 of me being unemployed with a PhD. Yay. Yeah, nothing much today. It's just a Saturday. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the crypto update that I have, and still haven't heard back of any of the jobs I applied to. I did have a recruiter reach out to me, but it's again one of those where the recruiters just spam a bunch of people and then they reply to you based on convenience. A lot of it has to do with when do you respond to them and when do they see your message and all of that. So, yeah, don't get too excited when a recruiter reaches out to you because it doesn't really go anywhere sometimes, most of the times. I want to talk a little bit about the crypto update that I have here today, where if you look at, it's basically kind of like in relation to what I spoke yesterday. We were sometime around here yesterday, right? And I said we might have a bump up, a bounce up, before we might go to a retest at this point, and then maybe we'll go down or we'll go up depending on the vibe. So here you had an opportunity for a short. You notice that price is kind of trapped right now between those two fib lines, right? So this is the -1 fib line from the trend back of last year. So the trend started here. We consolidated for 8 months. Then we had the election pump, right? So this is the -1 line, and this is the fib line from this trend here, which is the bottom at 74. This, so it's a trend within a range, which broke all-time high, right? So price is consolidating now between those two lines. You kind of have an opportunity to short here at resistance. So if price, right, so what you can do here is you can make a multi-time frame analysis. So if you're on the daily, you'll notice that we're consolidating between those two lines. If you go down to the 1 hour chart, you'll notice that we're on the way to have the band flipping red. So this could be a signal for you to short here and then take profit somewhere around here. Somewhere maybe once this gap is filled, which is around 1036. So you notice, obviously, you don't have much. You might get killed on the fees, so depending on how much fees you're paying, you can calculate your expenses accordingly. If you go down to the 15-minute, you'll notice that the bands flip red. And right as the bands flipped red, here, we went down from 1044 to right now 1042. It is what it is. It's not a big one. We're still overall bearish on a short to medium time frame. Interesting to see what happens here, because once we break here, I'm definitely opening a short all the way to probably 99, because we have a gap here that needs to get filled at 97.9. So keep an eye on this support here. Once it breaks, that's a good opportunity for a short. Like, let's say, oh, but what if it's a false breakout? Again, like, weird stuff happen all the time. If it's a false breakout, then you exit your trade, you take the L, and then move on. Okay? So I guess this is our crypto update. New month, June. Yeah, we'll see how things go. If I look at the monthly, we notice that the monthly chart is actually bullish. Okay, so again, I mentioned, we said on the short to medium we're bearish, but if you look at the monthly, we're actually really bullish. The weekly, weekly seems like just consolidation so far. We'll see tomorrow what happens, if there's anything interesting that can happen before the weekly close. But yeah, we're just waiting on the interest rates to go down, because that's going to be the turning point of this cycle. If you look at my previous videos, you thought I would mention that it's probably going to be the Bitcoin strategic reserve, but Trump just announced it via a tweet, and then that was it. So it's kind of like, I don't know if that counts as like the event that was expecting to be the big thing, because it was just a tweet. It's not like we saw something big happening besides that. But if it's not the Bitcoin strategic reserve, then it's probably going to be the interest rates. We are waiting for the interest rates to go down, and we kind of know that eventually they'll have to go down, because Trump was able to cut the expenses, which will lead to lower inflation. Because that's his main goal right now, to just lower the interest rates, so that it becomes easier to get a mortgage, easier to borrow money, more jobs will bring in. Tech companies will have better funding, better hiring. So, because remember, tech companies, they rely heavily on debt, on cheap debt. So whenever the interest rates go down, they automatically start hiring more people, give more incentives, better salaries, which was the case in 2021. In 2022, as they started increasing the interest rates, tech companies started laying off people, giving smaller offers with less pay, more restrictions. They're like, oh, you're not gonna work from home, we need you in person, all of that. So yeah, I think it's the main thing we need to keep an eye on in this cycle, because that would be probably the start of the last strong pump of this cycle before we just top, which is expected to be sometime in 2026. Who knows? Maybe we top in December 2025, but yeah, we'll see how fast the interest rates will be cut. So yeah, this is it. That was my update for today. Nothing much. I did weigh myself today when I woke up. Actually, I was at 194, so I did also lose some weight. But the Monday morning weighing is what I'm counting on. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Again, any questions you have, just put it in the chat and let me know, and I'll be happy to answer. And yeah, you have a great rest of your weekend. Bye.